warm up as usual. This is live right now. We're going to be talking about mastering difficult conversations and confrontations. That is the topic on the way to work. That's what we got to do. So I'm going to give my moment of pause so that we can get this live warmed up. My phone is it's a lot more bright out, so it's kind of hard to see, not gonna lie, but I do see that my live is on, so that's good. We're gonna have a nice calm talk because I know how it is when you gotta go to work. You don't want to be there. You have to deal with people that you don't want to deal with, and you have to learn and move in that environment tactfully. That tactful piece is the hardest part, but it's also building you. It's going to be the number one thing that's going to build you up. It's difficult though, but the number one differentiator that I have realized, and I'm somebody who's talking from experience. I just got off the phone with someone from my company from a different hiring department. Now, in this hiring department, they're a third party. They're a third party to my company, which is Walmart. I'll just be transparent to that end. Walmart is my company. They use a certain third party vendor as a recruiter. Now, one thing that I called and had some, complaints about with the person that I've been talking back and forth with on a position that I'm supposed to be taking on is just the communication portion, and their ability to effectively communicate even after telling me that they would be communicating. How do you handle just that piece? On one end, you want something badly. You want it. You want this thing, and it's right there, staring you in the face. And I'm speaking more so, speaking about talking to someone directly about this issue. So you want something, and let's say a job specifically. There's a job that you want, and you're almost there. You almost got it. You're about to get it. You're about to move into this job, but there's someone that's standing in your way, literally standing between you and getting into that position. And there could be multiple people. How do you handle that over a course of weeks? Well, for me, I handle it week by week. I go in, hey, how's it going? I go in and I've contacted who I need to contact, and I say, hey, what's going on? Just checking in, reaching out. All right, cool. After so many weeks, doing good. How about you? How about you guys? Hopefully y'all doing good. We're talking about difficult conversations and confrontation with people, employers, wherever you're at in the world. I know everybody in the world isn't dealing with the same things that people in America are dealing with, and other people out there aren't dealing with the same things that Americans are dealing with. It's kind of like vice versa. Some things are better outside of the States. Some things are better in the States. But nevertheless, I think that everybody could use a dose of being able to go wherever you go and being tactful in every situation and being able to open up and blossom and grow in your environment. And that's probably the number one thing that's hurting a lot of us is, whenever you're faced with these difficult conversations, you don't have them. Just think about how many times have you had the opportunity to have a conversation where you confront, and I'm not talking about confront in an angry way. I'm not talking about, lashing out. I'm not talking about trying to revenge, talk somebody to death. All I'm saying is airing what maybe the difference is. Hey, and drawing that perspective and that moral, what we call a moral high ground, especially whenever you feel wrong, trying to show that person. And this is the crazy thing, not even cool. I just had a conversation with someone, and somebody, the gentleman it was like I was doing that, and he just didn't he failed greatly at one, acknowledging that there was a massive failure, and then he continued to try to push everything out on other people, which it and my wife heard the entire conversation, so she knew exactly, like, I wasn't making things up. She literally heard exactly what I was dealing with. So it was just like, I I confronted it though, tactfully. I paced myself, and I would say it was definitely considered a confrontation in a positive sense, in the sense of, I didn't just say, well, all right, well, it is what it is, whatever. I'm not gonna call them. I don't want to bother them. They're too busy, or whatever. No, call, be respectful, do your thing, and then put out there that professional energy. Put out there that you are supposed to be in this position. Whether they want to give it to you now or not is a different thing, because most people aren't going to go that length. Most people aren't going to reach out and say, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on, guys? What's going on? What's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome." So it's really about having those conversations. People will view it as just pure aggression. They will view it as that aggression, like, because they're not used to it. Whenever you go into your workplace and you are the top person, you're a performer. I'm not saying you're perfect. You may show up to work late here and there. You may be, but whenever you get there, you're freaking on point, and you do what you correct your mistakes. If late is one of them, you correct that. If something, a task isn't done right, you correct that. You show up and you're doing what you need to do. That's important, because, or else there is no, you have a harder time getting into those conversations, because you'll just get pushed back in those areas. So work. That's where the personal fortitude and that self-development factor comes in. It's really, it's a small percentage of, and that's why I don't want people to go out and lash out at this. They're going, it's going out more today. I'm not sure. It's that's a hear you out, and it could really the situation could really just get worse. So make sure that you're listening as well in all of this. I wish I could hear you guys, and have these conversations where it's more of a two-way and not a one-way. I'm on TikTok pretty much daily now, and doing lives, talking about workforce. Do Think about it all in your brain first, and it may you could have a really hard time putting it all together and trying to piece together these pieces, because sometimes there's so much nuance in the workplace, that it can be difficult to put together all of the pieces by yourself. But what I would say is, if you need to confront your manager or whoever it may be in the workplace, one, do it tactfully, but think about it before you do it. Don't add too many layers and too many things, too many assumptions is what I'm saying. Because what you can do, or get off topic, is what I'm really trying to say. Don't get too far off topic of what the main thing is. There's a main key point that you want to deliver. And if you go on a tangent in trying to deliver your grievance, let's say, then that person is going to be harder for them to understand where you're coming from. So take a deep breath, slow it down, and then get it out and say it sharp and crisp in at least a few sentences, and then stop talking and let that other person speak. And then you'll see whether, okay, just from their response, you'll see whether they were tracking on what you're talking about. Now, whenever somebody says, "Wait, I don't understand. I don't get what you're talking about." Like, what do you mean? You have a problem here? wait, what? They're probably most likely 100% lying. But if they say, you know what, I didn't even realize I was doing that. I didn't even real. I apologize. Right on the spot, boom. And there shouldn't be any. There's no point at that moment to really. I'm not saying you don't want to go in to get into arguments with these people and spend all your energy on that. But right there, you'll see, okay, yeah, there's some authenticity here, okay, and you use it, you gauge it you gauge it accordingly. Let's just put it like that. You gauge it accordingly, but realize that we're all human, so we all make mistakes, and we all do things that we don't sometimes realize. And so you may, or I may be saying something or doing something that I don't realize is offending somebody else. And until they come to my face and say, hey, this isn't cool. I didn't like how you did that. I didn't like how you said that. And then I'm going to be like, whoa, I really didn't. I did not think that was affecting you like that, and I apologize. I am not going to do it again. I'm going to do everything I can to not do it again. That's genuine. That's a genuine response, because whenever like I said, we're all human. We all make mistakes, so we all do things to get on other people's nerves. That's the funny thing. We are all doing things to get on other people's nerves. So if you get confronted by your manager about something that's not right, or like not being addressed, you're not learning something fast enough, it's probably a little bit, maybe ticking them off a bit. And they haven't fired you yet because they're trying to figure out if you're ever going to get it. Now it's understandable. But I think that there's training for that. There's other ways of mitigating the risk of getting fired by utilizing training as a primary tool to help management when they have to confront you. So management is always looking at the bottom line. Are we moving the needle forward? At least they should be. Are we moving the needle forward in the business? I think a good manager is always looking at that, and they're looking at the data, and yes, of course, the people. They're also addressing the people. They're also looking at how can we make the team better and more solid and more efficient. That's good leadership, when you can care about the business like it's your own, and you can care about the people like you really care about them. I get it. People don't want to be seen as family in the workplace, but I think that there is a level of care that has to be had from an upper level manager, because if not, then it becomes just about the business, which isn't good. Like if you have a business, if you're the business owner and you hire a management team, but they forget about the people that help bring in the money for the business, you're not going to have a business very long, and people are going to kick rocks and get the heck up out of there. And that's just what it is. So this piece right here, this piece that I'm talking about right now, is something that I've grown a certain level of expertise in, just because of over the years having to confront people over and over for my job, having to, and still working at it, because the confronting people is gut wrenching. Whenever you have to literally confront somebody about an issue, and that may get them in trouble, it's gut wrenching, and you still have to go do it. Well, I've still gone and done it over and over and over again, and this is something that I'm going to be talking about a lot more. I'm about to go into work right now. I'm going to go confront some people. Boom. And I'll let y'all know exactly how that went down, most likely tomorrow, whenever I go back to work and I have my daily drive. So like and subscribe if you aren't already. And also, I'm on TikTok. My TikTok name is FlyZips, but it's also Joshua Frankel. It's going to be at Joshua Frankel, so you'll see it. But hit me up over there. Thank you guys for coming in and seeing the chat. I'm just reading some of the comments before I get up out of here. Where are you from? I'm here in America. Here in America. All right, guys and gals. I'll see y'all later. Peace.